I think that was probably more impressive than anything. So if you weren't there, I'm telling you, you missed a great shootout of a game. It was unfortunate that somebody had to lose. But the Katy Texans get the rookie championship representing Houston in the 2017 Spring Bowl. So congratulations to the Katy Texans, all the kids, all the players, the coaches, great job. Shout out to all of them. Abiel, all right, I'll give you a break for a couple of weeks. See, now Abiel is in the chat box here on the Facebook Live. He's all over the place. Come and take it. He's like posting all kinds of hashtags. We didn't hear nothing from you for weeks. We were about to call the cadaver dogs out looking for you. And that was something else that was really cool. Once it was over, once the final whistle was blown, they called the game. They had won in overtime. Abiel Rojas all of a sudden shows up with a box and starts putting hats on the kids, championship hats. The man went out and pre-bought printed championship hats for the Katy Texans. So my question is, had you not won, what would you have done with those hats? Would you have sent them to like the Congo or something like they normally do, like with the NFL championship T-shirts? But that was a great scene. We weren't running Facebook Live, but that was a great scene. Abiel running around putting these hats on these kids. They were loving it, grabbing their championship hats right away, putting them on. I even saw one of the, I guess he's a coach. Abiel, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was one of the coaches for one of the other teams that was there. Wasn't a coach for that team, but managed to find his way onto the football field and snatched a hat. Snatched a hat. And Abiel had to run over there and snatch it off his head and said, "It's for the kids." If I had my camera out at that time, that would have been a fantastic video to watch and post. So the question is for the fall for the Katy Texans. Do they move to D1? Does this new rivalry, I guess as you can call it, between them and the Cypress Tigers, does it continue into the fall? No, Jonathan, I didn't get a hat. Those hats were for the kids. I wasn't about to even try to get one. Besides, Abiel was probably mad at me. I've been picking on him so badly. Now he says he's got a hat. You should have gave me that hat when I was out there. We'll add it to the collection over here. Appreciate it. Nonetheless, a great 2017 spring season. I think it was one of the more exciting seasons that a lot of people had. The Spring Bowl was fantastic. Could not ask for anything better than what happened down in McAllen. If you weren't there, I'm telling you, you missed it. It was on point. Yeah, the heat was there. The heat was on, and some people couldn't handle it, but I'm telling you, this was a great weekend. Some people saying that it was a great Spring Bowl, but that heat, oh my God, I'm still recovering. Yeah, I'm the same way. In fact, some of you probably saw me riding around in the golf cart on Sunday during the championship games and probably looked down and saw my knee propped up. It started Saturday even when I got there for the first games. I've been having problems with this left knee, and by Sunday, That thing was like a melon. By the time I got home to Brenham, I ain't afraid to say it, I was in tears. I was in so much pain. My knee was just blown up. I don't know if the heat did it. I don't know if it was the humidity. I don't know what caused it. But, man, it just blew up. But like I said, I've been having problems with it. Still waiting on getting an MRI scheduled and see what's going on in there. So Jonathan Fernandez asked, why doesn't the fall playoffs do it like spring bowl, fast and quick? Well, number one, spring is just that. It is the spring, and so they do it like a bowl game, like a quick tournament, a 2-day tournament. When you're talking about fall, number one, it's a much longer season. Number two, there's a lot more involved in the fall. So you give everybody a chance. It's a true, almost like it is pretty much set up like a high school playoff format. So it gives a bigger chance, I guess you could say. It gives more games. I mean, think about it. For fall season, we're playing football starting the first weekend in September, and we're not ending until mid-December when you get to the championship game. There's the first thing. There it is. I was waiting for someone to say it. It's time to move the Spring Bowl somewhere neutral. Okay, well, I don't know what more neutral you want. Because Houston, I have to say, is the biggest complainers about having to go to the Valley, but yet you brought home 3 championships. So what neutral part are you concerned about? Because RGV only got 1. If it was something of a neutral issue, it would be the RGV always winning everything. So I don't think it's a matter of being on, quote, neutral ground. Now, should we move the Spring Bowl around? Sure, I'm all for that. I think the Spring Bowl, has been down to McAllen for the last three years, I think. Now, here's the other issue. And I know I've mentioned this before. I've talked about this before. Is where are you going to hold the Spring Bowl? Because where do you have a facility like the McAllen Sports Park in Houston? Where do you have a facility like that in San Antonio, in Austin? Now, there is one that we've heard of in Round Rock, and I believe there are talks. But there's a lot of different things in play. And I guarantee you one of them is the cost. If you want a bigger tournament, it's got to move. How much bigger of a tournament do we need? I mean, this was a 2-day tournament that went till 3, 4 o'clock. Actually, we didn't get done till about 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. How much bigger of a tournament do you want? And it was a guaranteed 2 games. Everybody played at least 2 games. So, again, if you're talking about the size of the tournament, I don't think you want to get much bigger than where it's set right now. There were plenty of teams to choose from. Even with teams that made the field and decided they didn't want to make the trip, there were still people to play. Okay, Carl, I live in Brenham, and there is no place in Brenham that has that many fields to host this size of a tournament. There is no place in Brenham that has that many fields to host that size of a tournament. There is so I saw someone mention College Station. There is a park in College Station that has a few fields, but they're majority soccer fields. And from what I understand, because I've had some talks with some people up there, they don't allow anything but soccer up there. Abel says, "Where? Yes, there is. Where in Brenham? Because I've been all over this town. I don't even want to call it a city. I've been all over this town. I've never seen where there are 10 to 12 football fields in one single location." I'm not turning my property into football fields. Not unless you're going to pay for it, Cesar Beltran. You come pay for it, and then we'll talk. Now, from what I understand, they are looking at different options. But you got to remember the cost. You know, let me go back to this. It's also the cost of these fields, what these cities or owners, what have you, conglomerates, whatever they are. And if they want to charge an arm and a leg to host a youth football game for a nonprofit organization, I already saw a bunch of people scoffing at having to pay $15 at the gate. It's got to be paid for somehow. So I know there's a new facility up in Round Rock. I know there's a new facility up in Round Rock that's much like the McAllen Sports Park. It's supposed to be a fantastic place. Okay, Holt Park does not have that many fields. It doesn't have enough fields. Yes, it's a big park and it's got several fields, but they're also soccer fields. And they get very protective over their fields. I know exactly what you're talking about. So anyways, the cost. People are already scoffing at having to pay $15. So let's say we go to Round Rock, but they're charging $10,000 for 2 days of hosting this event. So you got to raise the price to get in at the gate in order to make sure that there's money to pay for it. Now, I can hear all the complaining now. Not concerned about what it costs to pay for the facility and everything else. All of a sudden you start hearing, oh, Taifa just trying to get richer. So just remember that. You know, when we start looking and we say we find another place, but the cost is higher, and which means the price of the gate gets higher in order to be able to cover it. Think about all that. So just food for thought. I know everybody's always asking, why does it always have to be McAllen? Why does it always have to be McAllen? It's a lot of factors involved. A lot of factors that no one wants to look at, no one wants to pay attention to. And I agree, Jonathan, they probably could use more shaded areas. And I think there were some things that were supposed to happen that didn't. One of them was, and I'll point this out because I was asking the question why, and I never got a response, and the league never got a response either, I don't believe. When you first walk into McAllen Sports Park, when you go past the main buildings, the concession buildings, and the ticket buildings, all along that walkway, they have water spouts that pop up. It's like a little display that goes on, but it allows everybody to kind of get wet, stay cool, and what have you. That wasn't working. I'm not sure why that wasn't working. And I know the question was asked. I don't think there ever was a response why it was not operating.